I mean, that wasn't going to win the game. Like, that 1-point lead wasn't going to be enough. Now, it could have put some pressure on FAMU, sure enough. But with 6 minutes, 30 seconds left, that 1-point lead was not going to hold up. They would have to come down and score again. And they just and what it did, it gave Florida A&M opportunity in the game, which they did.
Well, time out, Coach. If they would have scored that, it wasn't no thing about Florida A&M was going to come and score. That wasn't guaranteed because they held them already to 24. You know, who knows in that last inning with that edge of what, 1 point, we tasting victory. And Coach, we said it earlier, they lost by a whole lot of 1-point games and 2-point games, right? So you learn from your mistakes, right? And you got a team that's been together for 4 years, right? That's how you learn how to win. That's how you win football games. But when you come in there telling me Florida A&M, the national championship winners, and guys, y'all counted us out, and we only lost by 1, and we rushed 250 times, man, throw that out with the baby in the wash, in the window and all that good stuff, Coach. I just didn't buy it.
I guess you're not a fan of moral victories, huh, Coach?
No, sir. No, sir, Coach. No, sir. Especially not in your 4th year. Now let him lose 2 or 3 or more of those. You know what I'm saying?
Rocky,
hey, he'll be on our show. Rocky, and we'll help him get another job.
Well, see, after that comment, he might not be on the show, Coach. Scott, Rocky, let me. I'm gonna do 2 things. To all my Southern people, what you saw was a Dawson Odom's offense, and you also saw why he never went to the Celebration Bowl. Because that offense, when I literally saw that, I said, I've seen this story before. And I have seen this play out at Southern when they played Alcorn many times in that SWAC championship game. And when it was time for Dawson Odoms to dial up a play, that's just not his thing. And I think also what happens too, and what bothers me about a lot of coaches, they overthink things. They want to try to get cute. Because you know what? And I saw this happen in the Celebration Bowl with Jackson State when they went to the tight end instead of going to Travis Hunter, who's clearly the best player on the field. But I'm going to lose. If I'm going to win or lose, I'm going to win or lose with my All-American. Same thing here. The quarterback, they say, you know what? They think we're going to give it to the running back. Let's do the sprint rollout. Let's do that RPO. And FAMU thought the same thing and blew the whole play up. So those are things that, again, that separates good teams from bad teams. Because, again, we talked about it. Norfolk State lost 6 games, and they even pointed out for the people on TV, because I watched the game on replay, 6 times they lost games less than a touchdown. This goes back to your point, Coach Cole. You've been there 4 years. You had actually the most starters coming back in the MEAC. You got the most all-conference players. There is talent on that team. So we're not for all those people that think not going to be talent. And I also got to say, I'm going to put my Florida A&M hat on. Daniel Richardson completed 73% of his passes. He averaged 10 yards of completion. That's good number for me. So for all of you all talking about, he ain't what we thought it was, you all teams play this week. And I'm going to be back here next Tuesday with the list of what your quarterbacks do. And I guarantee you, and I will bet all you all in this chat, because, boy, y'all been chirping, that your quarterbacks will not do exactly what Daniel Richardson did. I guarantee it. I will put my money on it. So this is the thing about it. You know, when we play these games and stuff like that, I picked it 35. I think I said I had 35-17. You play the games, but once again, what I'm most happy about is I saw a coaching staff that out-coached a seasoned coaching staff. They made adjustments. Those players did not panic. And like I said, when you go on a 24-9 run, Coach, to close the game out, you're doing something right. So, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me say this. Yeah. Norfolk State University. I want to know, if they out there listening, how many of y'all went home happy? Huh? We lost by 1. We did a good job. We were right in there.
Hey, Coach Cole, let's be honest. They didn't have no fans show up to the game. So
when they got there late, Coach, they did come late. They came late.
Oh, those are Florida A&M fans.
Hey, Coach, it was 2,200, and they brought 200, and we brought the other 20,000. So we just got to keep it real, Coach. It was 22,000 people in the stadium. They brought, you know, the 200 or something. We brought the other, you know, maybe they might, we'll give them 2,000. Maybe, and I don't even think they brought that. But we brought 20,000 of those people, guaranteed.
And so I'll say this. With no fan support, there's not many Norfolk State people that thought they had a chance to win the game. If they thought they had a chance to win the game, in my opinion, there would have been more Norfolk State fans in the stadium. If you had looked at that stadium, you would think Norfolk, Virginia was in California somewhere. Not on the same coast as Atlanta.
Let me say this, Coach. Let's keep it real. Norfolk State should have won that football game. Florida A&M had a fake dead play because we thought it was a trick play, Rocky, until we went to the interview, remember?
Yeah.
It was a dead play when the kid, what's his name? Give me his name.
Richardson, when they jumped offside.
Yeah. That's how they scored to go up. So the kids played their heart out.
Coach, just because you play your heart out don't mean you deserve to win, Coach. At the end of the day, the better players on the field played for Florida A&M.
I disagree totally.
Coach, you can't remember. I can't remember one player that made an impact other than Kevon King.
Well, the quarterback played well.
Coach Allen went 7 for 9. He went 7 for 9.
Their offensive line played well. Their defense was tough. They got beat on 2 big bombs. Let's talk. They got beat on 2 big bombs. Other than that, those 2 plays, I'm older now. They ran up and down the field.
Coach, you know they only ran for 50 more yards after the first quarter, right?
Yeah.
So 3 quarters they only ran for 50 yards with 2.9 yards a carry of the 3 quarters after the first quarter. So that's the reason why I've got to talk about the adjustments. And you even talked about this, Coach. Me and you were sitting there, and you looked at me and said, Coach Campbell, the linebackers are just not hitting their gaps. And what we found out is that Eric Horn was pulled from the game because he was not maintaining gap integrity. They pulled him out the game and didn't allow them to come back, from my understanding, in the third quarter.
Well,
so these are things.
Go ahead.
So these are the things that, again, you know, I always like this. I love when the first team plays out the gate. We were the first team that plays out the gate. And we're going to talk about some other games that we have highlighted. But for me, the goal is to win the game. Overall, we had 1 bad quarter. We had 3 good quarters. I'll take that. We move on, and we play Saturday against South Carolina State.
One of the things that Coach Coles said after the game, he said they were running some unbalance. So they kind of caught them off guard, and he pretty much said what the things that they've seen them do in the past, because they got a new offense coordinator, defense coordinator, they had to make some adjustments. So I definitely agree that Florida A&M made the adjustments at halftime, but still North Carolina State played well. So neither team to me just dominated.
No, not at all.
To me,
not at all.
like I said earlier, I just think that Florida A&M say, look, we're going to take this game. It's our first. We making adjustments, players, culture, everything. But one thing we're not going to do, we got to go lose. And I think the will to win is the reason why they won that football game.
And I'm going to make one.
After listening to Coach Odom.
Yeah. I'm going to say one thing, and then, Rocky, I guess we can move on. The one thing that I got to talk about is Coach Henry, the offensive coordinator. The one thing that I saw, and we were watching the game, it looked like Coach Henry said, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let me go back to some plays last year that got us successful. All of a sudden, you saw the tight end get involved. All of a sudden, you saw, like I say, to Coach's point, the go-ahead touchdown to the running back. You start seeing plays that we saw that was super successful last year, and Coach Henry started dialing them up. So to me, I like the fact that Coach Henry realized really quickly, based off of what maybe he thought he wanted to do against this team, he said, you know what, we've got some things in our bag that have been tried and true with this offense that it can work. And once again, as they say, the tight end is always open.
Absolutely, man. Like I say, the one thing that surprised me around the HBCU community, and I said this to Bishop over the phone, is that how people totally discounted Norfolk State even after they saw them play y'all into a very competitive game. They were like, Norfolk State is sorry. Ain't no way FAMU is going to go to the Celebration Bowl if they can only beat Norfolk State by 1 point. And I'll say this, I'll be surprised if Norfolk State isn't vying for the MEAC championship based on what I saw on Saturday.
Rocky, you'll see it. Like I say, you'll see.
I really think Norfolk does have a good team. They do, you know. But you got to go in there with high expectations that we come to win the football game. We just don't come to play good. Because I've been on staffs and coached before where we didn't play good. But when you have a will to win, you do the things that make you win. You know, so and I just never really seen a coach in my coaching career that talked about it basically to me because he was coming at the media. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys didn't think that we were gonna show up. You lost. you lost. You know what I'm saying? And we ran the ball up and down the field. Yes, but you lost. You know, so that's my take on it. And I know I'm a critic, Coach. I know I'm a critic, but I believe in winning. You know.
Yeah. Hey, I want to take a quick break. You're listening to HBCU Coaches Corner on CBS Sports Radio, Syntex One. You can listen to this broadcast on the app, on our app, Syntex Sports One, and you can download those apps on the Google Play Store and also the Apple Store. But I also want to let you guys know, if you're looking online, you'll see that I have 5 tickets to the State Fair Classic. 5 tickets to the State Fair Classic. Now I'm gonna give these tickets away next week. The people that I'm gonna get the tickets away, in order to enter to win these tickets, you have to go make comments. The same person made comments on 3 different videos of ours. I don't care if they were last year videos or on the coaching series recently did. Go to 3 of our videos, make comments, and that will enter you into, and I'm putting it like this here. Type in State Fair Classic. That's how I'll know that you want to get entered in the drawing. State Fair Classic. Put that on the end of your comment, or just make that your complete comment. That way I know. Again, these are 5 tickets to the hopefully there's a camera right there. 5 tickets to the State Fair Classic. All right, Coach, let's get underway because we got before the State Fair Classic, there's the Labor Day Classic. All right, and that's coming up this weekend. Let me get you guys' thoughts on this game, and tell the people what we can expect on the Labor Day Classic hosted by Prairie View A&M.
Who's first, Coach? Call it out.
Mr. Campbell, I'll let you go ahead and go.
Well, here's the thing. Now, this is where the difference is when you won a championship and now you're trying to win a championship. See, now, Rocky, FAMU has already won their first game. So this is what I want to talk about. Now, all these pretenders to the throne, PV, they have been in our chats. They have said that this is their year. This is the thing. Now, I have picked them to win the West. You got to start by winning this game. Here's the thing. We had Coach Bubba McDowell right here on the HBCU Coaches Corner. We talked about who potentially was going to be their quarterback. Who is going to come out there? Who's going to be under center? Are they going to be able to execute the offense? We talked to Coach Dishman. He said, you know what? I'm going to bring in a few, and we talked about his recruiting class. I'm going to bring in a few recruits. I'm going to build from the high school. But remember, they still have a lot of talented players that came in with that Andrew Body recruiting class that is still on that team. So let's not say that this team doesn't have it. But for me, This is where Prairie View has to start and win this game. And I'm going to say this to you, Prairie View. Unlike FAMU, this is a game that I want you to try to dominate because you're going to need confidence going into the SWAC. And one of those games is this game right here. So for me, Prairie View, I need to see you to win this game by 14 points.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I'll go next. In this game right here, I think Prairie View should start their campaign to be the West champions if they truly want to be the West champions. They have to enter this game. This is a home game. It's in Prairie View. They have to win this game in order to assert themselves as the dominant team in the West against an inferior opponent, in my opinion. Also, they just named their quarterback. Y'all may help me pronounce his name. Is it Cooley or Coley? Y'all let me know what it is. I'm not sure. Y'all just name your quarterback. This is the guy that had Coach Bubba McDowell grinning ear to ear. I hope he turns out to be everything that Coach Bubba McDowell wants him to be. At this point, Prairie View has been to the SWAC championship twice. And if they depend on and a lot of people in Prairie View think this is a year for them to win the SWAC. If they're truly going to win the SWAC, they have to dominate this game. What do you think, Coach?
You know, the numbers, when you look at choosing what's the best coach, you got to go with Coach Bubba McDowell. He's been in the position. Offensive coordinator, Prairie View, defensive coordinator, because you really don't know what Texas Southern has. But you do know this. They lost a big-time quarterback. They lost a big-time SWAC leading rusher. Those things are hard to refill, you know, and ante up. You don't know what really they're doing offensively or defensively. I don't even know if the coach knows. When you look at his background and look at Bubba's background, Bubba's been there. You know what I mean? It's kind of a reverse for me. I know when we were at Texas Southern, you know, we never lost to Prairie View. You know, that was kind of a thing, you know what I mean? And we know now that Prairie View has beat Texas Southern in the last 9 years, you know, and one of the questions we asked Coach Dishman was how important the game was. And he really didn't give it oh man, you know, this is very, very, very important. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, is he going in the game saying I'm still on my honeymoon, you know, or is he going in the game saying, man, if I got a chance to win, really important on winning this conference, if I lose this game, I'm two games behind. That's how important this game is. So I give Prairie View the edge.
Yeah, I think Prairie View has this is if they depend on winning the SWAC championship and beginning with winning the SWAC West, they had to win this game. Let's go to the next one. This is a game that I am thoroughly looking forward to right here, Coach. I'm looking forward to this game. Me and my wife, we're going to travel down to Miami. We're going to take in some Rays. And then on Saturday, and then we're going to travel over to the stadium on Sunday and see North Carolina Central and Andrew Body.
Now, ain't you guys going to a sporting event as well?
Yeah, I called JT. I called him and I texted JT. Let me check my phone. He ain't got back with me, but I suspect he'll be getting back with me soon. So I texted him. Like I said, Johnny T hadn't got back with me, but hopefully I got some people working on my behalf. Me and my wife, we plan on going to dinner and going to the banquet with Johnny T. And we also are trying to effort and get media credentials for the game, even though we missed the deadline. But I'm still working on trying to get media credentials. So
we could call Alabama State's AD. You know, he got that in, and definitely get some credentials for you.
I don't know if he's controlling the. He may have some pull for sure.
Yeah.
But and I'll start on this one, right? I think this is a very important game to set the tone for the season for Andrew Body. I believe he has a formidable opponent in NCCU, and he has to come out and establish himself as the quarterback in the SWAC, in my opinion. Daniel, in order for him to establish himself as a quarterback in the SWAC, as the quarterback, the bar has been set pretty high by Daniel Richardson. So Andrew Body has to go out and impact the game in a big way. NCCU, they're breaking in a guy who has very little experience at quarterback, playing what has historically been a pretty formidable defense. The way I see this game unfolding is NCCU struggles to put up points, and Andrew Body comes through and scores just enough to win the game. And I think this game is going to be in the area of 21-10, 21-13, something like that, in the favor of Alabama State. What do you think, Steve?
Well, this is another one of those games that, again, if you want to be a championship team, and if Florida A&M is in the clubhouse with one win, you got to, both of these teams, you want to win this game. So the question is, who is more pressure on? And I'm going to say it's more pressure on Alabama State, because for them to set the tone, they need to win this game. You've got a quarterback that has played in Andrew Body. You've got a defense with several all-conference SWAC players. You've got an offensive line that they feel pretty good about. Then you go over to NCCU. You're breaking in a new quarterback. You've lost a lot of starters from last year's team. But the question is Trey Oliver, once again, the coaching. Does Trey Oliver, with his coaching skill and acumen, with that new quarterback, keep this game a low-scoring game and win at the end? I'm going to take Alabama State on this game. But what I will say this to Alabama State people, this is one of those games that when you're looking at your season, if you lose this game, I'm going to tell you, the teams like a Florida A&M, the teams like a Jackson State, the teams like a Bethune-Cookman, you know what they're going to say? These guys not as good as I think they are. If Central can beat them, we can beat them too. Winning brings confidence to a squad. And, Coach, you know this. So my thing is, these are building block games that for a team like Alabama State that's getting ready, as I like to say, this death march, that because they've been picked, they're the team. They're the number one team in the East. The team in the East has been the one that's represented in the Celebration Bowl the last 3 years. So once again, will you be able to handle the pressure? Is Andrew Body ready to step up and play a game that he needs to play? So I'm going to take Alabama State. I'm going to take them 24-21.
Wow. Well, the quarterback for North Carolina Central is a guy that does have a little more experience than we think, because he played behind the other one and they were blowing teams out. So he did get an opportunity to play a lot, more than we thought. But y'all understand that who's coaching North Carolina Central, don't you? A guy named Trey Oliver, who took Deion Sanders and destroyed the All-American team of Jackson State. He destroyed them, Coach. It wasn't even no contest really till the end. So when we talk about coaching, the edge goes to North Carolina Central. When we talk about great program, that goes to North Carolina Central. You got Coach Robinson in his third year of being a coach and got a lot of new things going. We got Andre Body, who can make a difference. He's the difference maker. I believe what you guys said about Body, he's the difference maker. And Body is no secret of taking over a game and putting a team on his back, because that might just be what he needs to do. They lost a lot of receivers at Alabama State. They got a great running game. They always had I had great defense. So that's going to be the tale of will Alabama State defense come back and slow North Carolina Central down? You know, North Carolina Central is a solid program. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the two quarterbacks is going to make a difference. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday. So I got North Carolina edging, and I'm going to give them the edge because their staff is much more seasoned than Alabama State's is.
All right, Coach. All right. Anything you add before we move on, Steve?
Hey, I want to say one thing. Like Coach said, Alabama State, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback. That's the time. So, again, what we saw, and this is what I like when we see a game. You saw Florida A&M staff, new offensive coordinator, new head coach, new quarterback. Went into halftime, made adjustments, were able to score. Alabama State, if you're in that same position, if you get down 14, will you be able to make the adjustments? So I'll be watching that.
That's right. Oh, he on the phone. He talking to somebody.
Oh yeah, that was Johnnie T. He was letting me know that he working on my stuff.
That's right, Johnny too. We call fans out too if you ain't doing what you're supposed to.
All right. Hey, so yeah, I just think I'm just looking forward to being a good game. Now let me ask you this here, Coach. I'll ask you this. Looks like there's a forecast for rain. Does that favor one team or the other?
Well, usually it favors a team that likes to run the football. You know what I mean? But body is the total package. He can run it and he can throw it. So that's what it usually is. But you got two teams that ain't even from that area that's going to be playing down there. So it's going to be a good football game. Coach Robinson is seasoned now, but Coach Oliver is a genius, and he's a motivator. So I look forward to it being a good game, Coach. It's gonna be tough, but I just give North Carolina Central.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this one, Coach. Eddie Robinson been coaching for 3 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
He beat Jackson State last year, if I remember correctly. I believe that was probably the signature win up to this point in his program. Would you agree, Steve?
100%. Because and he called it, and it was Jackson State's homecoming. Absolutely.
Would this
big in the book of homecoming?
Would this be a bigger win than beating Jackson State last year?
I would think so. And he's also won the Magic City Classic because you can throw the records out there, and he's had his team ready for the Magic City Classic as well. So he's got some stripes. Don't get me wrong, but when you mess with the general, Coach, you got to come more than the stripes. You can't say enough about Coach Oliver, man.
I agree. I believe Trey Oliver is the most talented coach in HBCU football. However, he's working with a quarterback with limited experience at a neutral site against what I consider, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks to play in the SWAC in recent history. And so I think the edge I'll give the edge to Alabama State. But
hey,
go ahead.
Yeah, Rock, I was going to make over in your chat. Mr. Jackson said Coach Oliver runs the same offense that Coach Odom runs. But hold on, let me put an asterisk by that. They might run the same offense, but Coach Oliver's teams execute that offense. So be clear on that. Just because you run the same offense doesn't mean you execute it the same way. There's a reason why Central has won championships. There's a reason why they have won 9 and 10 games. And there's a reason why Dawson Odom is still trying to figure it out. So I want to be clear on that. Run the same offense don't mean the same thing. All right,
yeah.
Rocky.
Yeah. And another thing too, I'll say this. Considering who is be calling the plays for Alabama State, and Trey Oliver was not sheepish about giving Coach Barnett compliments and said, "Hey, he's got me, and I've got him." You know what I mean? So I expect it to be a pretty good coaching matchup for this reason. we know E-Rob is the CEO head coach. He's not calling plays on offense. He's not calling plays on defense. So it really would be a chess match between the offense coordinators, and even Trey Oliver admits Coach Barnett is a formidable opponent. So
let me we talk truth right, because we don't want this kid to not get his. First of all, the kid's name is Walker Harris.
Harris, yep.
Will be the starting quarterback. 6'1", 195. He's a redshirt junior, so he's a very experienced guy. All right. He played 5 games in 21, 11 games in 22, and 12 games in 23. He's got 19 attempts on 28 games. He's thrown for 47 yards. I'm sorry. Let me get. He's rushed 19 times for 47 yards. 23 is his longest. He also, again, has 28 games played, 60 completions on 97 attempts. That's a high number. All right. He'll thrown for 68 yards, 681 yards, and 5 TDs.
This is all I say about that. And I ain't got a lot to say. This is about what that is. Did you just hear that?
We did not. We did not.
Hold on. Tell you.
He's completed 62% of his passes.
But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice?
He was in garbage time, Coach. He did all that in garbage time.
Okay.
Does garbage time matter, Coach? You're a coach. I don't know. Does garbage time matter?
But he's been there. He's been there 3 years, Coach. He's been sitting for 3 years. I know a guy that sit for bench for 3 years, Coach, and he came in and he broke all the career records. I
don't want to hear about that guy again. No, I know who that guy is too.
So
I know where he played. He played at Texas Southern. I know that's where he played.
So guys like him that sit, and when they get the opportunity, Coach, they got a chip on their shoulder.
Just like Junior.
I talked with Coach.
Junior did at FAMU.
Yeah, I talked with Coach Oliver extensively on this kid, and Coach Oliver thinks that this kid is the next coming. So we'll see.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
All right. Well, we're going to next up, we have the brawl at Bragg. Hey, coach say this, they didn't have a name for this game, and I think this game deserves a name, especially since the last time Florida A&M lost at home, they lost to those big, bad Bulldogs. So, with no further ado, I'm going to let Mr. Campbell lead this one.
Well, we've got a tale of two teams. I'll start with South Carolina State. Bringing in a quarterback that played for Chennisberry, 4 return offensive linemen, an all-MEAC running back. That sounds a lot like Norfolk State. On the flip side, a lot of holes in the defense, defensive backs still trying to get it together, from my understanding. Linebacker core is going to be the weak part of that team. FAMU, always play the game. Kind of know what, and I heard what Coach Cozy said. We had players that we thought might be the starters, but now as the game progressed, now we got other guys that might be the stars. So that one game allows you to see what your players are going to be. Also, it allows FAMU to say, you know what? We know that they watched that tape against Norfolk State, and it's something that we're going to work on in practice. I think this is one of those games that FAMU comes out the box, wins this game 28-14, because I think South Carolina State first game, I think they're going to have trouble, and I think it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. I think offensively they're going to move the ball a little bit because those 4 offensive linemen and with a seasoned quarterback. But I just think that FAMU's offense and just what we saw is going to really have an explosive day. So I go 28-14.
All right. You want me to go ahead and go, Coach Cole?
I whatever you want, Coach. You running the show. You got the ball.
I'll go ahead and go. I'll go ahead and go.
Okay.
In this game, I'm gonna make it simple. You got the HBCU national champ that I put my eyes on that looks like they have reloaded at running back, at quarterback. And even though the defense gave up 220 yards, right? What I saw was a defense that was able to adjust and eventually cut Norfolk State's water off. Was able to cut their water off. What I see in South Carolina is a bunch of question marks. You know, I think Chennisberry is a good coach, a good motivator, but we don't know what they have at quarterback. We got a guy, I want to say his last name is Phoenix. We know coach.
Correct.
We know he was able to be an impact player on Division II, but this is big time college football. This ain't Division II. And so with all those question marks going into the game, I gotta take FAMU, and I'm gonna take FAMU big. I'm gonna take FAMU 31-10.
Well, let me say this. A team make its biggest jump from game 1 to game 2. You know, their conditioning, they're comfortable with what they're doing. And so South Carolina playing for the first time gives FAMU an advantage. FAMU will come in more so, got things together, know what to expect, in better game condition, speed, and all that. South Carolina State just got too much new. I know Florida A&M does too, but they've got to be. They had an opportunity to clean some stuff up, you know, and find some players and players that they thought they could play. They're gonna be able to make some adjustments. I give FAMU the victory, but don't lay down on Chennisberry in the running game. They're gonna run the football. They're gonna try to run the football. And as Coach Hayes said it so delicately, we hopefully they get the ball back. So South Carolina State is gonna have to play ball control, keep FAMU's offense off the field, which they do have an opportunity at that, because South Carolina State gonna run the football, coach. And they gonna find those holes on Florida A&M if Florida A&M ain't ready. But I think because Cozy, I like his staff, they made a good adjustment. They never really panicked at the football game. I don't see it being a blowout. I see FAMU winning another close one.
All right, okay, Coach. This is what I'll say. There was a gentleman in here that picked South Carolina, and this is what I'll say. Both teams had a host of transfers that came in the program. And this is where I just fundamentally think South Carolina is at a disadvantage. South Carolina had a bunch of transfers that came up from the D2 level coming up to Division I AA. On the other hand, FAMU had a host of transfers that came from Power 5 and Group of 5. And when you consider all that, big dogs always win. And I'll let y'all make any comment. I also want to thank Swag Fan 100 for his super chat, man. I want to thank you, man. I appreciate you donating to the cause, man. It's, you know, like I say, the kind of content we bring, it does cost money. When you talk about the traveling and all that kind of stuff, man. And all these kind of contributions make it even more affordable and more possible for us to do that kind of stuff, man. If I had a private jet, I actually would fly into Tallahassee Saturday morning, watch FAMU play South Carolina, and then fly out and head to South Beach that night, have a night on South Beach, and then go to the game on Boston Classic. But since I'm flying Spirit, I'll just be there I'll just be at the OBC. So just so y'all know.
Rock, I want to say something real quick. This is what I love about this time of the year. And I'm going to say this, and this is going to be my Florida A&M hat. I heard all last year every game we were going to lose, and we didn't. I always ask the people, tell me exactly why Florida A&M is going to lose. Now, I got people that I know do not know who's on South Carolina State's football team, other than the South Carolina State people. And we broke these teams down. We talked to the coach.
Yep.
We know the coach told us what he had to work on and what he felt where his strength was, which we talked about just a few minutes ago. This is what's funny to me. If you think that South Carolina State, and people say, well, you think that South Carolina State is better than Norfolk, they only won like one more game than Norfolk. So they got picked fourth, Norfolk got picked fifth. So fourth and fifth are basically the exact same team. So yeah, Norfolk could be better than South Carolina State this year. That's not a big leap, okay, people? So this is the thing that I think is really funny, that I like that this animus, which is, I love it. I love it every week because I saw this same thing. Musa wasn't any good and Musa was just winning games. Florida A&M was going to lose and just kept winning games. I'm just telling you guys, we're not going to lose this game. I'm telling you this. This is a game. We're playing in Bragg. We have the talent. And I think if you are honest, you saw some coaching from Coach that I think a lot of you all weren't expecting from that staff. So now we'll move on. So I just wanted to put that out there. I had to put my Florida A&M hat on.
And I'm going to tell you, the graduate transfer said we don't lose at Bragg.
You heard him. That has played 40-plus games.
All right, we can go through these pretty quick, man. I thought all these games were key matchups. I know there's a couple on here that may not be marquee matchups, but I thought they were noteworthy. We can we'll get a chance to see this live. I'll just go ahead and say I got ULM against Jackson State. Though I'll say this, I'm a Jackson State fan. I hope Jackson State wins, but I just don't have any confidence they can go to ULM and pull it off.
I'm going to go next, Coach. I'm from Jackson. Here is the thing that I'm going to say. Jackson State has never beat an FBS team. But with that being said, they never played a lot of FBS teams, to be honest with you, especially during their powerhouse years. This is the team. If they're going to beat an FBS team, this is the team. I know a lot of people at Jackson are going to come down. But the one thing that I'm nervous about, I looked at ULM. I looked at their coach. I looked at what the strength of their team is going to be. It's going to be their offensive line. You know the weakness of Jackson State's team last year? They gave up 150 yards rushing last year. They were 7th in the SWAC. So that makes me nervous. If Jackson State can maintain the line of scrimmage, I believe they got a shot. But Rocky, I'm like you. My heart says 21-17 Jackson State, but my football acumen says 24-20 ULM.
ULM.
All right. All right. This is one I thought was an interesting matchup. Mississippi Valley and Tennessee State. Now, of course, I'm going to take Tennessee State. But Tennessee State lost to Lane College last year.
Mississippi Valley won one game last year. That's the converse of that, though.
Tennessee State.
Tennessee State all the way. And I'll say this. Let's be clear. And I have friends at Tennessee State. My cousin is a professor at Tennessee State. Eddie George better not lose this game. Because I'll tell you this, Coach, if he loses this game, he won't be the coach next week.
All right.
I don't know. You know, they paying him that big old salary.
Coach, I'm telling you now, Coach, Coach, you coach at Tennessee State. One thing, that Big Blue Nation is a pride. And they have not been roared. They have given him a lot of latitude. Because, Coach, listen, you know, we came up in that Big John Barry era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when they believe in winning championships or have a winning season. I'm talking about not 7-win seasons. Tennessee State used to have 10-win seasons consistently. 9-win seasons. They have let Eddie George kind of percolate, but I'm telling you, they lose this game, that's going to be a problem.
Wow. I believe you. They can't lose, but they got a rough schedule. You know, they play in What is that? The Big South. They came next to last year.
OBC.
Yeah. It ain't the OBC anymore. It's
OBC Big South.
Yeah, it's changed. But I see Tennessee State winning. I see it being a close game, though. I don't see them running away with it.
Hey, Rocky, let me just address something. Thank you for the time to be meant. We know it's not last year, but we actually know what Florida A&M is. So you tell me what you know about South Carolina State that we don't know. Feel free to call in. Because you clearly must be on the coaching staff, because there's nothing you're going to be able to tell me about South Carolina State because you haven't seen them play. So I understand, because you're not making any sense. You saying it's not last year. You actually saw Florida A&M play. You haven't seen South Carolina State play. So I just want to address that. Let's go, Rocky. Southern and McNeese.
All right, Southern and McNeese. Now, McNeese played against my nephew's team, Charleston State. And for what I understand, they led most of the game, if I'm correct. And then Charleston State came back and won the game. Now, McNeese is invested in some NIL guys. They actually got the quarterback from the team that played in the championship last year, FCS championship. I want to say his name is McDowell. I may be mispronouncing it, but I think that's his name.
Wow.
Can the Southern head, the first year Southern head coach, Terrence Graves, go down to McNeese and shock the world? I don't think so. I got McNeese.
Of course, McNeese has been on the downside the last couple of years, which they did have a good football program. Southern coming off of a second change. In the last 5 years, Southern's had, 3 head coaches? It's tough. It's tough trying to change that. You got new coaches coming in and going. You don't have a big-time quarterback coming back. I don't see them beat McNeese at McNeese.
Wow. So here's the thing. I heard Perry White, shout out to Outspoke yesterday, and I think he said that Southern had played 20 of these games of all the PWI schools and had not won one in 20 years. I'm going to say that a lot of Southern people, for some reason, believe that they're going to be in the SWAC championship. I don't know why, but I'm going to say this again. You laughed at Florida A&M. We won our first game. Southern, you're about to lose your first game to McNeese. I don't believe Southern is going to win this game. I don't believe McNeese is any good, but I just don't think Southern has it. And what I will say, Southern, if this was a game, you better win this game, because you know you're going to Jackson, I think, in a couple of weeks right after that. So if you lose this game and then lose to Jackson, your season's already over. And I'm saying it right here first.
And then
your season's already over.
And then they have to show up at Prairie View on September 21st with 2 losses under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, this is what I like. It was all this FAMU barely won. Guess what? We won. Now you're on the clock. And I'm going to come back next Tuesday with receipts. And all you jokers from Jackson State, Southern, and Alabama State, you better win. I swear to God, you better win. Because if you lose, what does that say about your team? Just want to put it out there. You better win. JSU, I want you to win 100%, because I need y'all to be right when we come to Jackson. But Southern, I ain't got no love for you. So I'm seeing McNeese is going to get you.
And Zach, which is also Blue Bloods, he said McNeese didn't win a single game last year.
They didn't.
The only win was a forfeit against Northwestern. That's horrible.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, people have no faith in Southern. People outside of Southern have no faith in Southern.
I just don't. And that's the thing. I don't believe. And like I said, we'll see. Again, if Southern wins this game, let's say this, as a SWAC HBC fan, I want Southern to win this game, because to Blue's point, these are games that the SWAC has to win. They have to win these games just for conference perception. But I just don't believe. I believe Jack State, once again, is playing upper level. still playing below average. I think they were 130 out of 134, something like that. ULM team. I think Jack State just has the team equipped to go win that game. Southern, I'm just not sold. We'll see. Like I said, I will be watching. But like I say, to his point, hopefully Southern gets this win. If they don't, their season is going to start off ugly.
And this is the thing that kind of makes me wonder. I mean, this is going back in history. But didn't Hugh Jackson have a win against one of those Southland Conference teams while he was the head coach?
I think so. I know Alcorn beat him, and I want to. Yeah, I know Alcorn beat him.
No, I'm saying, what game were you talking about, Rocky?
I was trying to. It triggered my thoughts that Southern had won one of those games in 20 years.
Oh, with McNeese.
And then I thought, like, who does beat them? But then I thought about, I remember Fred beat them last year. But I also remember Hugh Jackson beat, because that same season that he got fired early in the season, we thought he might have had something. And I think he beat somebody. Hold on, let me see.
Well, that was Blue said it was Northwestern State.
Yeah. So
and let me make there was a question said, how does it make sense? I'm making the same point. Because the reason why I know what Southern's team is, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not sold on Noah Biden. I'm not sold on him as a quarterback. I'm not sold on Southern skill players this year. I'm not sold on them. So that's just me. I'm not, and I'm not being funny. I'm not sold on Coach Graves, and no disrespect to Coach Graves. I think that McNeese would, I just think this is one of those games that Southern, I don't believe they're going to win it. I just don't believe. I'm not sold on Southern's team. I don't think people think Southern's going to have 7 or 8 wins. I don't see it.
I got you.
All right. And last but not least, we got Morgan State and Hampton. I got Morgan State on this one. I just believe in Coach Damon Wilson, to be honest with you.
I think he's a great coach. Going up against Hampton would put some things together, of course, because they are in a different league. I like Morgan State. I like that too. I like it close. 17-10, 10-3.
Okay.
I'm taking Morgan State. I think Morgan State is going to try. This is their year. They're going to try to make a run to the Celebration Bowl. Once again, this is an out-of-conference game. But once again, these are old BAC rivals. So these are teams that know each other. Once again, a lot of fans know each other. They're all in that DMV area and things like that down in Hampton. Again, Labor Day weekend, I don't know what the crowd is going to be like. It's going to be beautiful weather up there, but I'm taking Morgan State.
Gotcha.
All right, guys. This has been a tremendous show, man. We went a little long, man, but it was just a real treat having Coach Hayes, Coach Bill Hayes on the show, man. He dropped so many gems on us. I'm just fortunate to be part of this. I would like to thank you, Coach Cole, for using your connections to make the content that we create fascinating, riveting, and interesting. And so that's my last words. Campbell, you got anything? And then Coach could take us out.
I'm just telling you, to all you Southern people, I am right here for you to hate me. I have no problem. I am right here for you to hate me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick against you every week just because you're Southern. How about that? So, no, I don't need to know anything about Southern. I'm just going to pick against you. How about that? That's what we do at HBCU land.
Boy, you crazy, boy. You're crazy.
Go ahead, Coach. It's on you. Take us out.
Well, guys, it's we coming down. We got to continue to vote. We've had a great weekend. I've had a interesting weekend because, as you know, now that I lost my oldest brother, and the strange thing about it, a lot of things came out at the funeral. And my brother was what you call a hero to all of us. He had 8 brothers, 8 of us. But he also was married as well. And that was always a struggle to a point that we wasn't giving in and she wasn't giving in. So a lot of years went by that it all came to a head after his passing because we all wanted a part of him, you know. And for the first time in my life, I thought about, man, my brother was married. And the things that I thought about her and man, it really came out. And so I was able to apologize to her of wanting to be with my brother because he was everything to me and all my other brothers. Think about my brother. He set the bar high for us, meaning the example that he set for us wasn't seeing him be a tough guy in the streets. He was a tough guy on the football field. He was a guy that was intelligent in school. He was a guy that respect others and respect adults. So that's what we seen. And for 8 of us to come behind that, never been to jail, you know, never been hooked on no drugs, always been respected in the community, was incredible. You know, for years and years, you've seen 9 kids, 9 boys, 9 men grew up and loved each other. I mean, even today, we got a group chat that we actually, every morning, I know I'm going to get a good morning. You know, we're going to text each other. And so we cherished that and we grew up that and we took pride in loving one another, no matter what problems we had. At the end of the day, you know, we love one another, you know. So what I'm saying is, guys, sometimes we think that we're supposed to be somewhere else, but really you're supposed to be right where you are. I can remember the time when I did lose my dream job at Texas Southern University. It was one of the lowest of my life. And I never thought that I would be where I am today. And so I had all these ideas of how I was going to get back to coaching and get back to the SWAC. And I even at one time thought that I was going to get back to the SWAC as a referee. And lo and behold, I get a call from HBCU Go, and now I'm becoming an analyst. And not only I'm going to be on the sideline, I'm going to be up in the box actually calling the game. So life throws its curves, man. But one thing I kept in mind is what my brother told me. He said, if just not getting up in the morning, having a roof over your head, a job to go to or a car to have, and somebody to love you, if that ain't enough, guys, something's wrong with you, you know. When you look at these millionaires, they got problems. When you look at poor people, they got problems. Wherever there's people, whether they're rich or poor, they got the same problem. So as I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the road, tie a knot and hold on tight. Because ain't
I won
nobody.
$500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.